In role-playing games, there are three pillars that support the campaign that you're running: snacks, bribery, and the out-of-character social conflict over the GM's girlfriend that showed up despite not liking the game and gets special treatment and abilities that none of the other players do. No, I don't think that's right. One second. Ha, no. Let's try this again. There are three pillars of the foundation of your campaign: combat, social, and exploration. Ha, that's better. Combat is the life and death confrontation between the PCs and other entities, whether that's a scary goblin with a pointy stick, or the ugly, many-tentacled beast in the brothel's basement. Combat is the part of many RPGs that often has the most rules that accompany it, and thus often one of the most straightforward parts of the campaign to run. Social is some of the very essence of what puts the RP into RPG. Social is the acting component of the game. This doesn't mean you have to do a fancy voice or dramatic gestures. It could be as simple as haggling with a merchant over the price of new boots. Exploration is one of the broader categories. It doesn't just involve traveling around and looking for new places. This is also the pillar that holds up puzzles, traps, mazes, and the like. It's this pillar that can add complexity to a situation or scenario that didn't previously have it. The beautiful thing about this is that every campaign, and indeed every scene, can incorporate the three pillars. That final conflict with the big bad can involve some social interaction, followed by combat that is complicated by numerous traps, puzzles, and environmental effects. Here's where I find a lot of new GMs have issues, and that's balancing the pillars with the player's expectations. Think of your campaign as a three-section house. Your group of players may have a particular shape of that house in mind. Maybe they favor combat, but detest things like puzzles and traps. If you try to have all the pillars balanced, the house will be unstable and may not be as enjoyable of an experience. However, if you focus too much on one pillar that doesn't conform with what the group is hoping for, then the whole thing could come crashing down. What the fuck? The three pillars aren't just for GM use. Players need to think about that when creating and evolving their characters. If you create a character focused on one of the pillars, but know the campaign is focused on a different pillar entirely, or maybe a little more balanced, you may find yourself sitting there bored a lot of the time. You also need to realize most characters aren't perfect in all three pillars. And that's okay. Not everyone has to be good at everything. Your halfling bard doesn't fare well during combat, but excels at social and exploration. Work with this. Make it an interesting point. That pillar is their weakness. Weaknesses are some of the best places to find role-playing opportunities. Whether you're a GM or a player, keep these three pillars in mind when planning or playing in an RPG. You just might find a balance in your games you were struggling with before. Have a good one, eh?